Hey, true crime fans. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're digging into one of the most jaw-dropping cases you'll ever hear about. The prison confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. This documentary takes you deep into the mind of Gypsy Rose, a girl who grew up under the thumb of her manipulative mom, Dee Dee Blanchard, only to end up in prison for a crime that shocked everyone. If you're into stories that are as twisted as they are tragic, then you're in for a wild ride. So here's the backstory if you're not familiar. Gypsy Rose Blanchard was raised by her mom, Dee Dee Blanchard, who convinced everyone that Gypsy was seriously ill. We're talking about a whole laundry list of supposed conditions: cancer, muscular dystrophy, seizures, you name it. Gypsy was in a wheelchair, subjected to all kinds of unnecessary medical treatments, and lived a life that was basically one big lie. But here's the kicker. Gypsy wasn't sick at all. Dee Dee had Munchausen syndrome by proxy, a mental disorder where a caregiver fakes or causes illness in the person they're caring for to get attention. The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard doesn't just retell this twisted tale. It takes us inside Gypsy's head as she sits in prison, serving a 10-year sentence for her role in Dee Dee's murder. Through these interviews, we see Gypsy's complex emotions. She's both a victim of horrific abuse and the perpetrator of a violent crime. It's intense to hear her talk about how she lived under Dee Dee's control and the moment she decided to put an end to it. Now, what makes this documentary so gripping is how it plays with our sympathies. On one side, you can't help but feel for Gypsy. Her childhood was stolen from her, and she was trapped in a life of lies and manipulation. But then there's the brutal reality. Gypsy and her then boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, plotted and carried out Dee Dee's murder. Was it self-defense after years of abuse, or was it a cold-blooded plan driven by desperation? The documentary doesn't spoon-feed you the answers. Instead, it lets you wrestle with those tough questions. One of the most fascinating parts of the Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard is how it delves into Gypsy's mixed feelings towards her mom. Despite everything, there's this weird loyalty Gypsy still feels, like she's angry and hurt, but there's also guilt and a deep sense of loss. The documentary really digs into this, showing how complicated and messy emotions can be, especially in abusive relationships. It's a powerful reminder of how deep scars of abuse can go. The documentary also raises some big questions about the justice system. Did Gypsy get a fair sentence, considering all she went through? Should the courts have considered her psychological state more? There aren't any easy answers, and that's part of what makes this story so compelling. In the end, The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard is a gripping, thought-provoking watch that will have you questioning everything you thought you knew about guilt, innocence, and justice. Gypsy's story is both heartbreaking and shocking, and it's one that will stick with you long after the credits roll. If you're into a true crime story that challenges your perceptions and keeps you thinking, this one's for you. And hey, if you liked this review, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more true crime content. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and remember, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.